top 10 ways that your skeletal system, your bones, your teeth, or anything to do with your structural system are asking for help. We're going to talk about some obvious ones and some maybe not so obvious ones that are the beginning stages. So first off, there's the obvious. Number one, osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a chronic disease, I suppose. Yeah, it's a chronic condition that took a long time to get to where you are. And it's a slow degradation of that bone density tissue, or it's a loss of density in your bone tissues. So that's the first place. Do you have osteoporosis? You would do well to join us in the network. Number two, do you have osteopenia? That's another really obvious one. Osteopenia is the beginning stages of the loss of that bone density. Number three, this may surprise people. Do you have thyroid issues? Hashimoto's, hypothyroiditis, hyperthyroiditis, Graves'. And I'll extend that. Do you take Synthroid or levothyroxine? Not only does an underactive or a thyroid that's struggling has a hard time helping you keep your bone matrix, but the medication you're on also depletes your calcium. Oh, like double whammy, pal. Yeah, so we have solutions in the network, don't worry. So do you have a thyroid issue? Number three. Number four, are you on any medications that deplete calcium or impede with bone building mechanisms? So that's the thyroid piece, but there are other medications out there. I cannot speak to medications. They are outside of my scope, obviously. But if you're on any medication, what I would recommend, contact your pharmacist. Your pharmacist is the one who's going to have the best answer for this. If you don't have a good pharmacist you have a good relationship with, find a compounding pharmacy. They typically will do a really good job of giving you some really deep information that can help you figure this out. So are you on any medication that depletes calcium or impedes any of the processes to do with that bone building mechanism? That's number four. Number five. Have you been told you have brittle bones? Or do your bones break easily? That's an early warning sign. Are you going through menopause? Now we're talking about risk factors. We're getting into some risk factors. What does a risk factor mean? It means if you have these currently as a day-to-day, like this is just how and where I'm at in my life and things I have on the go, these have the potential of increasing your chances of developing osteoporosis. So it's a risk factor. It's a risk factor that makes it so you're more susceptible to developing osteoporosis or osteopenia. Are you going through menopause? Number six. Damn it. That's like half the population. That's my population. That's where I'm at. Yeah. Number seven. Do you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes? What? Yeah, it's a risk factor. Yeah, for the depletion of your bone matrix and the bone density piece. Yeah. The longer you have blood sugar balancing issues, the more you're going to be driving that bone depletion piece. Great, Luca. Thanks, I'm sad. I know. We're going to talk about delicious ways to work with this and to bolster your nutrition to make it work so that we can slow down and really actually hamper all of this mechanism so that you can just retain your bone matrix. That's our goal at the end of this month, to help you retain your bone matrix. Number 8, do you have painful joints or creaky knees? Since the age of 11. Yeah, that is number 8. Number 9, have you had lots of dental cavities? That is another big indicator that you are losing some type of bone density in a very particular set of bones. But if it's happening here, pal, guess what's happening in the rest of your bones? Yep. Number 10, have you been diagnosed with anything that ends in the word itis that is tied to any joints or skeletal tissue? So, for example, tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, that's me, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. So anything to do with itis just means inflammation. So is there an inflammatory component of something going on in joints? Potentially is where you tend to see it. In connective tissue with ligaments and fascia. Those are other spots. So those are the top 10 ways. How many of these did you say yes to? Yeah. So I will tell you, these top 10 are the top 10 ways that I see it in my practice when I see clients one-on-one, and often when it is osteoporosis and osteopenia, like that is what brings them to a holistic nutrition practitioner, because they really want to maximize their dairy and their calcium. But I'm here to tell you, when the skeletal system has an issue, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it is not a calcium deficiency issue. It is a hampered ability to get calcium deposited and retained in your bone matrix. You could be eating all the calcium you want, but are you able to get it into your system? Taking a calcium supplement, if you are at the beginning stages of osteopenia, will not work. I know I'm a jerk for saying so, but I do not want to mislead you. Your loss of bone density is not necessarily related to the fact that you're not having enough calcium. It might be, but I'm going to tell you there are about 18,000 different things that need to happen to deposit calcium in bones. Eating calcium is one of the 18,000. There's like 18,000 other processes that need to function well in order to get that calcium in your bones. And that is what we are going to be doing in the Good Food Network.